Is it as communicative or as fun at street speeds compared to something like a GR86? Today we have a 2021 Toyota GR Supra owned by Ken as a dedicated track car. As you can tell from the arrow and the number on the side, he literally just drives this to the track and back and has something else that he uses as his daily. So keep that in mind as we review this vehicle. Powertrain is stock B58. That's the 3-liter turbocharged twin scroll inline 6, making 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque. Because remember, the 2020 model year had 335 horsepower. They got bumped with the 21 and later. That's paired to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, which is tuned very well because when you have a B58 or BMW engine with ZF 8-speed, you got some magical things happening. Car weighs in around 3,300 pounds. We have strut front and multi-link rear. Now, as for suspension, we have JRZ RS Pro 2-way dampers with the rears converted to true coilovers. Eibach springs of 700 pounds in the front, 600 pounds in the rear. Eibach sway bars front and rear, and SPL suspension arms. We've got these Apex EC7R 18 by 10.5 wheels wrapped in Nankang CR-S V2 275 section width tires. And we got a lot of this Verus Engineering low and standard downforce aero bits. Full mod list down in the description. Now, the owner did modify the engine, but he didn't like the tune and reverted it back to stock mapping now. We also have the active AutoWork high flow catted downpipe, Miltech race axle back muffler, and you can see all the other goodies down in the description as always. Oh God, this thing, the seat is all the way down and I keep hitting my head here still. Oh my God. Seriously, no other car, other than maybe the Camaro, I have that issue. And she comes to life. Nice BMW interior. We're gonna put this into sport mode. And we got this, the damping, I mean, he did aftermarket, so that's not gonna do anything here. Steering we'll have in sport. Engine we'll put in sport, and transmission in sport. We'll hit the sport button here. Oops, I turned it off. There we go, sport, and we're gonna press traction once. Traction mode activated. There we go, and we're gonna do safety system customized. Perfect. Cool. With that out of the way, see how she drives. And if you're curious about that 997.2, we're reviewing that next. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, including that Porsche and many more to come. Big thanks to the owner, Ken, for letting me review his car. Big thanks to Fenton's son, who's driving that car. He's from the Zygon YouTube channel, helped organize this review. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com and fill out the form on the homepage. Okay, first of all, remember this thing is set up for the track, so if you see me pogo sticking, you know why. This car is way too stiff for a road like this, even though this road isn't even that bad. Should get this into manual mode so we don't have surprise upshifts and such. Getting a little bit unsettled with these bumps. It's so stiff, there's a little bit of excess motion after the bump. You're not gonna have issues with that on track. You're gonna have great body control on track and not gonna get upset on track because you don't have bumps like these on track. But out here on the street, not ideal. Nice solid brakes. Not the grabbiest initial bite, but you get into it and they give you that confidence that you want when you're pushing a car. Dude, for a stock powertrain, this thing is so quick. So quick. these transmission shifts. And yeah, they're so quick for a torque converter. So quick. Now, I try to not rely on just the tack, because what a lot of car companies do is that, ooh, let's go around that rock. Probably could have cleared that, but with the splitters and aero, you never really know. What some car companies do is they will actually have the tack show the next gear faster than it actually shifts, and you can hear it. You'll hear the revs come after the actual change to the needle. Sneaky, sneaky. Now, I don't know which exact mod is responsible for this, but there's actually substantially more steering feel here compared to the other Supras I've driven. That's going to be a combination of suspension and tires and possibly some alignment settings too. This is a car I would love to review on track. You can feel it move underneath you a bit, but on street, not trying to push the limits of traction on a road like this. Such a handful in the best way possible on track. These Supras are just so capable. You throw on some aero, some suspension work, and they set very impressive times on track. The JRZs, as they are set up here, of course being far too stiff for canyon use. But now, in addition to the better steering feel, it's also heavier than other Supras I've driven, which I think is excellent and is quite congruent with the rest of the vehicle. Such quick shifts. We're now in auto mode. Obviously, these pads are not designed for street use, hence the squealing. Man. This driver up here, we have to keep using turnouts because they refuse to let us pass. Very poor etiquette. But let's wrap this up. The Toyota Supra Mark V is such a capable vehicle, and as a canvas, you can make it a track weapon, you can make it something that's fun on street and even a daily, right? It's such a flexible vehicle. Is it as communicative or as fun at street speeds compared to something like a GR86? No, I'd argue that's actually more fun. But when you want to get a track duty vehicle like this, something that's gonna rip your face off with speed and capabilities on track, it's hard to beat this at the price point. You throw on some suspension mods, some aero, and it's a vehicle that's hard to argue with. It is so capable, so fast, and actually not as numb in this setup with the steering. Again, for street use, I would just want softer suspension. But it's always such a pleasant surprise when you get in a vehicle and it ends up having more feel than you expect. The steering, I think, was the big surprise here for me. Definitely a lot of fun. Stock engine, stock power, even for a 2020, which makes less power than the 21 and onward, is, you know, I can see that some people may want a little bit more power, but it's plenty capable, and especially if you take this out on track, you're going to be pushing some serious speeds on the straights, where unless you're a highly advanced driver, this is going to be more than enough. My friends, let me know what you think of this track prepped 2020 Toyota Supra. Leave a comment down below. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on JabalAndCars.com, and I'll see you in that next one.